Welcome to Ignite Possibilities with Coach Loice. This evening we have an amazing guest. Her name is Jackie. She's going to introduce herself. Jackie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes.
My name is Jacqueline Athieno. I consider myself a woman of faith. I'm a mother to two beautiful children. My background is human resources. I've been in the NGO sector for close to 22 years now. I'm a farmer. I'm a believer. I fellowship at Redeemed Christian Church of God. And I think just the fact that, I received salvation about 20 years ago, that has really centered me, not just from a social, spiritual angle, but also really professionally. Yeah, I'm a very spontaneous person, but also I think deeply and very empathetic. And I think those are some of the things that have really guided me on many of the things that I do.
Yes.
And many times I do the best worst analysis.
Wow.
Like, what is the worst that could happen?
Right.
And what is the best that could happen? And once I engage the gear, that's
yes.
it. So that's me. I come from a family of 7 and I'm a last born.
Ooh, yeah. That's very, very interesting, Jackie.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you are here with us.
Thank you.
Viewers, I am so excited because you are here. And this show is about highlighting women leaders. We are going to be sharing their stories. We are going to be sharing their achievements. We are going to be sharing their journeys of becoming. So Jackie, that has been a very powerful start, getting to know who you are, what you do, and how your life has been this far. So, what inspired you? You've just told us you are in human resources. What inspired you to start that career?
Generally, I don't want to use the word talkative, but I'm a very outgoing person. And when I was starting in my career, I realized I had the option of either doing programs, focusing on admin, or going the human resources side. So the very first time I interacted with the human resources was back in 2003, thereabout, and the program officer who interviewed me for a position in WFP, which is World Food Program, was very experienced. He was almost getting into his retirement.
Okay.
And he would tell me, he used to call me Kamwana,
Kamwana.
like, yeah, because I think I was the youngest in the team.
Yes.
And he said, Jackie, I think you'll do very well in HR. Because I got in, it was an admin procurement role, but I got in and I started looking at the records and that. Yeah, but also I personally would like to impact. And I was looking at a career that would make me get up close and personal with people. And I think HR gives you that opportunity. Yeah, so you think with your head, but you really act with your heart. Like, what would be the impact of this? For example, like when you are like a termination or a separation, just the realization that you are terminating a family actually. It's not just the individual.
Because one individual.
The individual, every employee, there is just a whole lot line behind them. So, just having that in mind and say, okay, this is necessary, it's required, but I think I would want to be as empathetic as possible when I'm doing this process.
Beautiful. That's such an amazing story, Jackie. You also talked about being a farmer. Wow, tell us more.
So in 2022, January, I joined a book club.
Yes.
And part of the book club was, I think, a money retreat or something. I can't remember the exact retreat, but it was kind of...
the one that we went to Kilimambogo?
Yes. So,
yes.
I went to Kilimambogo and I just, like I could look at the environment and I'm like, it's possible. This lady has a full-time job, but she's still doing this. But also I grew up in a farm.
Yes.
So my parents are now retired.
Yes.
But we grew up in a farm, so we had milk, eggs, chicken, everything, you know. Yeah. And I've always desired to have an orchard.
Yes.
So in 2022, after that retreat, a friend of mine took me to Kajiado, and as soon as I got there, I found that the mother had planted bananas in Kajiado, and I'm like, wow.
Kajiado can have bananas?
Yes, pawpaws.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow. I can't believe this, but I think it's something doable.
Yes.
So just borrowing from the experience we had from the money retreat,
yes,
I asked in fact the mother, because my friend that time had already traveled.
Yes.
Like, can I get land here?
Yes.
And you know, I'd come from Afghanistan and saved some money to buy a car.
Yes.
And I was like, the car can wait.
Let it wait.
And then I bought the land and completed the process in October 2022. And then just started. So in July 2023, I started fencing off and, you know, just conceptualizing what I could do. Yeah, so I've been lucky that from around November 2023 to around May 2024, it's literally been raining.
Wow. So
I was able to experiment with many things.
Wow.
Yeah, so I would say I've just started.
Yes.
But there's nothing as beautiful as just seeing, you know, things grow.
Yes.
You know, it reminds me of a story of Nelson Mandela. When he was in prison,
yes,
he planted a tomato. You know, the way you just get seeds and then you plant.
Yes.
And just seeing the seeds germinate gave him a lot of hope. And it's the same thing with any other farming.
Yes.
Just the fact that you've put seeds into the ground and then you come back, you get that it's sprouting.
Yes.
Gives me a lot of excitement.
Wow.
But also the fact that I can eat from my own farm. Yeah, so I would say for the last 10 months, I've never bought vegetables. I've never bought bananas.
Wow.
I'm currently keeping rabbits, so I'm really hoping that I can start keeping, you know, like taking rabbit meat more frequent. Yeah. So it's about what you feel within. Honestly, some people say they've never held a djembe. I don't hold the djembe. I get people to help me do it. Of course, I've held the djembe, but I think it's you know, you ignite that desire from within. And you know, once you start seeing things unfold, it kind of becomes the motivation, because they say motivation is in the action. You will never say that, now I have enough motivation, I want to jump into it. It's actually in the action. So for me it's exciting, and the fact that even my children really are excited about it, and you know, when they hear we are going to Kajiado over the weekend, they are so excited
for the whole family.
And also you realize that, especially post-COVID, we spend a lot of time on the screen. So you just need something that will take you off the screen, and you can just be you. In fact, if I'm in the farm, I think maybe one or two people really get to know who I am on the other side.
On the other side.
But if someone was to see me like in Dukamoja, they will be like, no, maybe it's the sister, because I'm a totally different personality, and just interacting with the villagers and, you know, the farm workers, and sharing a cup of tea with them outside there, and but it's really liberating. That's what I can say.
Wow. It's amazing, Jackie, when a woman takes charge of her life, and she ignites and sparks that dream. Like now you said you've seen your parents, they always had chicken, they had this and this, and then now you had a desire, and what happened is the Money Blueprint retreat just ignited, sparked that dream. But what I love, Jackie, is that you just never sat on it.
Of course, how, you know, like, and I always say, you know, we all have the power in our hands. Sometimes we'll always give excuses. Oh, you know, I can't do this. I can't do this. But they say it's either it's an excuse it's either you do it or it's just an excuse.
Yes.
Yeah, so for me, it's just about igniting the power that is within you. And that's why even when you are establishing your purpose, look at what keeps you awake.
What keeps you
really makes you just want to, really get up and do something. Or what makes you start visioning so many things within that line. So I remember going to Kilimambogo and coming back, and I was just thinking, I have this farm and I can go. I love purples. I can go and come back with purples.
1 or 2
I have kienyeji mbogas, I have chicken. It's possible. But it would require me to roll up my sleeves.
Exactly.
It's not easy. That's something I would say.
No, it cannot be easy.
But you have to roll up your sleeves. You have to be determined. There are times when you will fail, but you fail forward. There are times when it will not work, but you use those lessons as your fertilizer to kind of just venture forward and look at options. What else can I do? Learn from people. I've spent a lot of time watching documentaries on farming, just learning what can work, what cannot work. But also being surrounded by people who believe that it's possible. So igniting possibilities, it has to start with you, but really also the environment really matters. Really matters. They say if you sit with 5 millionaires, you'll be the next. You'll be the next millionaire. So for me, I attribute it like for the last 2-3 years. Really the environment, the company I've kept, and I also realized that the company that you keep will also keep you grounded, because then you don't have time to be going for small things. Over the weekend, either you are thinking of finishing on your book, now going to the farm, catching up on maybe work. So previously you would find a whole afternoon I spend it on the market, and but now I think I have now time in my hands to do things that really excite me.
Super amazing. Wow. Now this makes me now wonder, this woman who is an HR practitioner on one end, senior at that level, then goes to the farm at this other one. I'm imagining also in church you are participating. It paints to me a very successful woman. So I'm thinking, what kind of habits have you developed over time that keep you grounded, that keep you focused? What do you do every day to maintain this?
So let me first say that for me, I define success as the impact I create. And I've always believed that have empowering conversations, but also empower the people that you meet. So I try to do a lot of reflection and do a lot of journaling. Even before I got into the book club, I sometimes look at even some of the notebooks I wrote back in 2000 and I think 2002. Wow! And look at some of the prayers that God has answered. I also keep, I would say, a gratitude box.
A gratitude box. What happens in that gratitude box?
So I write anything that I'm grateful for. And in fact, like the one I have now, which I started last year, I've not opened it. And that also helps me. But I think it's about improving yourself. It's about challenging yourself, going beyond like your usual. So for me, I have an HR background, but I've also done a master's in project planning and management. Right now I'm doing a lot of leadership courses. And sometimes I tell people it's not so much about the content, it's the context. The people you are meeting there, how they impact you positively, how you realize that you actually have a lot of substance, and you just need to venture into some of the things you've been planning to do. But also I sit a lot, so I do a lot of exercise. When I have time, I'll go to the gym. For me, it's more about the mental than even the physical, because I come back and I have clarity of mind. I'll have focus the whole day. I pray a lot. I think, and I even tell my church mates that I think for me, I've made the prayer of thanksgiving more than any other prayer. And
being grateful.
Being grateful. And it's just the realization that it could be somebody else sitting on my chair. It could be, but God in His grace and mercy has given us those opportunities. So I would say summary, build yourself,
yes,
expound yourself, do a lot of learning, look at things outside of really your sector. Yeah, but also the fact that humility as well. Apart from being grateful, I think the humility part of it is very important. And I'll tell you, even in my church, it's very few people who will even know what I do.
Wow.
Because when I go there, I've gone to church. I've gone to interact with that mama from the Kijiji. She wants to get hope. Yes. She wants to feel encouraged from me. Yeah. It's not about my title. No. It's not, people will tell you, oh, you have this position. How comes you are still driving this old car? And you're like, it's not about that. Yeah. I think it's about the impact. And that's why for me, I'll define success. Yeah, but I think to remain successful, gratitude, develop yourself, improve yourself, whether it's through learning, interactions, just making sure that you are aligned to on your spiritual side. You might not be a Christian, but there's always a being that you believe in, which I think is very important. Yeah, so really prayer, just being in check with even with your family. I think I'm a last born, but sometimes when people see me behave, they ask, are you a firstborn?
A firstborn, yes, this is firstborn behavior.
Yes, this is firstborn behavior. Yeah, but I think it keeps me grounded, it keeps me grateful, it keeps me connected. Yeah, so there are many things, but I think the most important those are the most important that have really worked out for me. Yeah.
So what we are learning is that we have to be intentional about having these habits in our lives and having a system of making them happen. So I'm imagining in the morning when you wake up, what is the first thing you do? You can take us through that.
Okay, and I would say it depends with days as well.
Yes, of course.
But when I wake up in the morning, I do a devotion and prayer.
And prayer.
Yeah, I've had this devotion that I share with my network for the last, I think, 9 years.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, so I start off with that, and then I share, and then I do prayers, and then when I have time, if I'm not traveling, I go to the gym. I do most of the time 1 hour.
Wow.
And then I come back, then I'll just prepare for the day. I also like starting like a slow morning because it then just makes it easy. Yeah, depending on the day, sometimes we'd start with just meditation, and then, after the prayers, I do some bit of meditation, and then I go to the gym at 6, 7 o'clock, I'm back, start preparing myself. 7:30, 7:45, I'm ready. I go for breakfast. Sometimes I'll take even 45 minutes. Just take my breakfast.
Just
quietly, maybe checking my messages, now my personal messages. Put on my laptop, let the mails flow in, and and then most of the time I'll start work at 9. So I'll drop my son to school and then come back and settle at 9. So that has been my schedule most of the time. Apart from maybe when I'm traveling, when I miss maybe the exercise. But the rest, which you can do anywhere, I think that is a standard. Prayer, devotion, and reading. So prayer, devotion, read maybe for 20 minutes, and then 6 o'clock start on the other things.
Many times when we see successful women, we don't see what happens in the back doors. But now you see you are bringing this to the world, that if you see me, there's something that I must ignite every morning. Every morning, and even every evening. I remember when we were doing some breathing exercises, and you were telling us that every evening you are having some deep breaths just to calm you down.
To calm me down. And then it makes you sleep very easy. And also just a reflection. I can't remember, I think it's the book on John Maxwell about change your thinking, where he says you need to create a thinking space.
Thinking space.
So your thinking space helps you to kind of also just reflect. And just go to bed with the right mindset, a heart of gratitude, that it might not have worked best as I expected, but at least I'm alive and things have worked. This did not work, but this worked out.
Okay, Jackie, we've talked so much about your success. We want now to see Have you had any challenges and I want you to take us through, you are a mother, you are a wife, you practicing a child, you're in charge of a team, at the farm you have a team, there are things that happen there. Have you had anything that has been challenging to you, any obstacles along this way, or has it been a straight line?
It can never be a straight line. And actually when you do something and it's a straight line, just know you are not on the right track. Because I believe challenges is what really brings the best out of us. I want to share a challenge. It's not really a challenge, but it's something that really kept me thinking. So I'd worked in South Sudan, and then in 2020 I went to Afghanistan. So in 2021, you know, the Taliban were advancing. You know, they were in the provinces, and now they were advancing towards the city. And many times you would have 2-3 bombings every day. And you know, the beauty or the, you know, the curse of being out there is you have a lot of time into your hands. So you reflect a lot. And I would reflect and ask, do I really need to be here? So around that time I was really trying to get a job, and I applied for jobs. Oh my God, I applied. I literally, I think I would apply a job every day at least. Yeah, and sometimes too, you know, it depends with the, you know. Yeah, and I remember at one time it was really my lowest. And I even changed the song, Pass Me Not, Gentle Savior, Hear My Humble Cry. When you are issuing and dishing out jobs, please don't forget me. Like I would sing that song like throughout.
And meaning it from your heart.
And I think one of the lowest moments was at a time when my dad was very sick. I am in Afghanistan. So, you know, sometimes you call and you are just told, oh, he's doing well, but people, you know, are just encouraging you. Yeah, and even that time, I also felt that I'd been away for about 3 years or 4. So I just needed to be with the, you know, with the family. Yeah, so it was really a very low moment for me. But I'm very prayerful as well, as I said. And that kept me going. But I also realized that the power is within me. I need to prepare myself psychologically that I have to get a job. I need to, you know, improve myself. I had so much time. So I started doing online courses. And then also reaching out to people, just asking, okay, is there something? If you hear of anything, please let me know. Yeah, and also just encouraging myself, learning from those interviews. You know, sometimes you do interviews, you don't get the job. And I'm like, okay, that was not meant for me. Really looking at it from a positive side. Yeah, so I think for me that was really low, both in my career, because I was feeling, okay, if I get stuck here so long, I think it's going to divert me from really getting back to regional positions. Because it was a kind of a country position.
Wow. And I love the way you navigated that space. You mentioned something about optimism and being positive and not allowing any negative conversation, any negative thoughts to come your way, and just staying focused that things are going to work out. If they have not worked out this time, then there's hope for tomorrow. There's hope for tomorro, but not giving up at the same time.
And even tapping into your previous experiences.
Exactly.
It has happened before. This is not like the first time I'm looking for a job. So, and you know, the self-confidence that I know whichever job that comes, I can do the job.
I can do it.
In fact, maybe I'm even overqualified. You know, just having that confidence, so long as it doesn't go border towards arrogance, is also very important.
And you see, that confidence comes from competency. When you know that you have worked on yourself, you know your thing. That is your craft. And you put effort on it. You know you can do it well. Then confidence will come.
It will come.
It will come.
And you know, when you say you do your craft and you know what, I think it's about following your passion and just speaking from your heart. Doing things from your heart. Because
things that you love.
Things that you love.
Things that bring you joy.
Things that bring you joy. Things that, you know, when you do it from your heart, you'll never struggle. And you become, you know, you become a natural, like in even the things that somebody would find very hard.
Amazing, amazing, Jackie. This is an amazing conversation because we are talking and we are speaking to one amazing lady who has navigated this space very powerfully. And Jackie, now I'm starting to think, who has mentored you? Who is this person of influence that has influenced you so that this is how you see things? This is your new perspective in life. I think I would say first is my mother. I think my mother, I would say she's my biggest mentor, especially from matters faith. Because when I was growing up, we would struggle with school fees. And I remember one time when I was in college, I went home and my mother didn't have money. And she said, God will make a way. Mungu atatengeneza njia. Yes.
And I just said it was a weekend, so I was expecting I would go back the next week. And then 2 days, I think on a Tuesday, we had a big farm, about 27 acres. So and half or 3/4 of it was just trees. So someone came and bought trees, like building. And that was more than enough than the feast that I wanted to, Yes. And for me, I think that's my first mentor. And then when I was working in Kakuma, I met a lady, and may her soul rest in peace.
Oh no.
She, for some reason, we just connected.
Yes.
So we would meet on the corridors, and she's like, my daughter, what? And she encouraged me, and she would tell me, be very careful,
Yes.
You are still very young, you still have a lot ahead of you. And I would say most of my professional achievements and even personal achievements, I would associate them to her.
To your mother.
To my mother and to this lady. She would tell me, she used to use a word trico, like just try.
Oh, try.
Trico, just try. Yeah, so I remember like when I was getting my first international job, I went to see her and I told her this is what is on the table. And she told me, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? It's a 1-year contract. Who told you they'll not renew it?
Yes,
just try. Yeah, another time I wanted to buy some property and I'm like, honestly, I don't know. Even and she's like, sign the, the sale agreement. That will motivate you to look for the money. Yeah, and I would also say, since I can't even remember when, I like picking quotations from different people, and I remember even at one point I would print them and put them in a file, and I just read through, like for positivity, for the encouragement. Yeah, but I would say my mother and this lady really were like my mentors. And of course you look at what other people have done in your profession, and you're like, I want to create an impact.
Oh my goodness. We are talking about igniting possibilities, and we can see that this is a process. It's not just an event. You must have intentionality. You must take the necessary action, and that's how things come to work. And having the right mindset, the right thoughts. Wow. So let's talk about motherhood. You are also a mother, and we've also talked about your mother. And when I think of that, I think a mother is the greatest leader that a child is exposed to. And you have done Unleash the She Leader program, and there is a correlation about the leadership characteristics, leadership qualities with motherhood, with being a mother. So what lessons have you learned about leadership through your own journey as a mother?
I think the first one is to really be authentic and real.
Wow, that is powerful, Jackie. Authenticity.
Yeah, and being real. Yeah, there are times when things will not work out, and you have to do what needs to be done. And I think even in leadership, there are times when things will not work. The second thing is really decision making. Decision making. As a mother, you have to make decisions for your family. They could be very small decisions, as simple as what do people eat. But it has an impact on your budget. It has an impact on time. Because if I get to the home at 6 and I'm thinking, Leo, what wakule chapati? when will I prepare them and all that. So you know, decision making is very critical. And from a leadership perspective, there are times when you are not very clear of the bigger picture, but you need to make a decision, because it's through that decision that you are able to start conversations that will bring you at the right space.
That is true.
And then I think the last one is, as a mother, I think you need to understand personalities.
Wow.
We all have our different personalities. You can never say my child is like me. No, I look at my daughter and she's, I think I would say the opposite of me. And just really appreciating that she brings something different than what I have.
Exactly.
And it's the same thing with leadership. You will have a team and they are all different, and they will bring in different aspects, you know, to the team. And it's the same thing with leadership. You will have a team and they are all different. And they will bring in different aspects, you know, to the team. So just being appreciative of what everyone brings, and then leveraging on that and your own strength to just create the impact that you desire.
That is so powerful, so powerful. And we've talked about the mother as a leader. We've talked about you learning from your mother. She was your greatest mentor together with that other lady. So Jackie, now that you are a leader, an abundant she leader in that matter, you've grown yourself. Now it's no longer about you. It's about what you are giving out there to help somebody else. So how do you want to be remembered? What legacy do you want to leave behind? And who are you impacting? And how?
I would
Many
say
questions.
Many questions. I even don't know where to start now, but let me just respond to it. I package it together. I think the best legacy that you can leave is a legacy of hope. I've always said, have impacting conversations, empowering conversations, because that makes people ignited. You know, like there's something you live with someone and it gives them hope. I would say I've impacted so many people. My immediate family, my niece and nephews, have always something positive to say about me. And I remember one of my nephews coming to my house, and he had come from a place of desperation, you know, like just unclarity in terms of his purpose. And when he got to my house, he said, "Auntie, kama nimefika kwa nyumba yako, mimi najua njia zangu zitafunguka." Can you imagine? Like I went back to the bedroom and I told God, thank you that helped me to impact this, you know, the life of this young man. Many of them will call me and ask me questions, and you know, the fact that I'm also in HR, they'll always ask about career, investment, you know, sometimes even dating. And then of course with my personality, even when I meet them, I'll joke, and you know, so my family, even my sisters, I think they are so motivated and encouraged by, you know, what I do. But also I mentor them. I encourage them and say, start small. Just make sure that you know there's something that is happening. And I've sat in a board for the last 14 years, and it's a community-based organization that we sponsor young people to do community development courses, but also market-driven courses. So community development, so we work with Kiswid and the likes of colleges, but also market-driven plumbing, electrical, engineering, or electrical. You know, some even would choose to just do tailoring, some do catering. And from time to time when we have this, you know, our teams together, either the alumni or the students, I've always taken time to tell them, you know what, don't see me and just think that it was you know, it's not easy. You have to roll up your sleeves. So really motivate them to know that they are on the right track. All they need to do is to remain consistent. I speak to women in church, you know, to kind of just motivate them. And, you know, like it could be something as simple as just remain in the place of prayer. So I mentor young people. I'm in a team of three, two other colleagues, and we mentor young people. So talking about like post-college, what next?
What next?
Yeah, how do you prepare for a job interview? How do you prepare a CV? Yeah, you know, like how do you behave in an interview? You know, basic things that somebody would assume that they're just kawaida, but you'd find that somebody doesn't know. Yeah, so I take opportunity, any opportunity I find, I make sure that I've mentored them. My boys in the farm, I'll tell them, I don't want you to work for me, and in 2 years you don't have a house.
Your own house.
Yeah, and when you get to the age of marriage, you need to get married. You know, you need to start seeing your life evolving. Yeah, so for me, I would say, I would want to leave a positive legacy. But you know, sometimes we think it's so big. It is the small things, it's the small little things that you plant into people's hearts, and people start desiring to see something positive in their lives.
That is so powerful, Jackie. Wow. Now I want you to speak to that woman. That woman who is there, she's in career. She travels a lot like you, and she wants to evolve to the next best version of herself. Talk to her now.
I would say that growth requires a lot of determination and just being you. I think it's very important. So just having a reflection as you in terms of where am I? What do I want to see? Where do I want to go is very important. Find your passion. Sometimes we struggle because we also are not doing the things that are aligned to what we need. Yeah, and many times people want to, you know, to go and just pick the passion. It's not like that. You have to try many things. And then, you know, like put your head into your heart. Let me use it that way. Such that thing that really gives you, you know, excitement. Is it? Is it? You know, it could be maybe the mentorship we are talking about. It could be just maybe your career, you know, your expertise. But within that area of expertise, there's something that really gives you excitement. For example, me in HR, I realized that talent development is leadership development. Those are things that will keep me awake. That just spark. Yeah. So I think as a young lady, whether you are in HR or whichever chosen career, it's important to just find what really sparks in you. Try different things, but also be ready to roll up your sleeves. It doesn't come easy. There are times when you will fail. There are times when they say you will be below the line. Even in a meeting, you'll be below the line. But that doesn't mean that it will be always. Just use those lessons to forge forward. But I think also really believing in yourself. There, especially now, you go onto social media and you'll see so many things, but go back into your own space and ask, what do I want? What can I do? What qualities do I have that can really drive me to what I want? I think it's very important.
Wow. Thank you so much for having me in the show.
You're welcome. It was really great.
We are so glad that you made it, because we are igniting one woman at a time.
Sure.
So our viewers, thank you so much for joining us today. We had a beautiful conversation with Madam Jackie here, a beautiful, gorgeous woman who has shared her story. She has told us about her dreams. She has told us how she has been purpose-driven in every endeavor. Anytime, whether it's at the farm, whether it's in the office, whether it's at home, she has had purpose. We are so happy to have had her story of courage, because she has told us it is not easy at all. But somehow, when you are ignited, you are able to stir that courage and to move to the next level. So, and we've talked also about collaborations and partnerships and having a mentor, because you will not be the next best version of yourself if you are not in the right community. You don't have someone who is holding the hand for you. So this is amazing. Keep those lessons with you. develop your legacy. Remember, legacy is developed here and now as you take that necessary action. Jackie has told us, start. Don't wait for the perfect time.
Yes.
Start now. Start small, but start. Don't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow may never come.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. This has been Igniting Possibilities with Coach Loice. Thank you.